What is going on, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics back on my desktop computer. For those that may have caught in earlier videos, I had mentioned my desktop PC, the video card died. Well, it was still under warranty because I did a pre-built. I don't like building my own systems. And I had to ship it out, and I just got it back yesterday. Finally, it's gone for about 2 weeks with shipping and everything. But the good news is, one, it's up and running. The really good news is brand spanking new RTX 3060 Ti video card at no charge, because I had to swap it for a warranty recall thing. So pretty happy about that. Let's get into some sports card stuff, but I am very happy to have my full command operating system mothership thing back up and running. Recording from the MacBook. Traveling is fine, and the desktop is just not enough ports. So, busy week in the old sports card world. Busy week. Mostly PSA/Collectors Universe related. We all thought we were getting regular service back this week, and PSA said not so fast, my friends, but we'll go buy Card Ladder. So, that happened. We talked about that earlier in the week. We'll see where that all plays out. An interesting side thing from that, the video that I did, Jeff Wilson, sports card investor, actually commented on it and made note that they were actually approached earlier in the year as well, but basically said they were not for sale. They wanted to remain an independent entity, and they have big things coming. So we'll see what that means. In the comment, he said, which this excited me, anyone that's watched the channel for a long time, that potentially comic books could be coming to Market Movers, which would be amazing. Anyone on the comic book side of things knows that the price tracking software is okay-ish. So I would kill to have a Market Movers version for comic books. That would be amazing. Amazing. But he said they got some other good stuff in the works, but basically that they were not for sale and they wanted to remain independent. And wished Card Ladder well. You can see I pinned that comment on the top of that Card Ladder video. So if you want to go check out his full, I hesitate to say statement, but his full comment on the Card Ladder acquisition from good old SCI. That was the biggest news of the week. Side news with two PSA things. There was that. And then, regular service did not actually come back, but group submitters seem to have gotten word that it'll be back potentially as soon as next week, as they are beginning to accept cards for around $100. Some group submitters add a little bit on for the service fee of sending. So we don't know the exact number yet, but it sounds like it's going to be 100 or right around 100. But the interesting thing is that they put caps on the group submitters, only 300, at least for PCS, 300 cards per week. So I don't know if everyone got the same cap. They're one of the biggest ones. So we'll see how it all plays out. I would assume we'll get an announcement this week. Maybe they don't open it back up for individuals, and that's the way they maintain some control, letting people get some cards in while still being able to put 95% of the workforce on the backlog and getting that cleared. We'll see. We shall see. That's pretty much the only deal. Oh, I guess we'll talk about this when we get in the charts. There was some Zion news too, but I pulled charts for him, so we'll talk about that in a minute. Philly show is this weekend. I did not make it. I was planning to go. Wife and I were planning on making a weekend getaway out of it, and I was going to sneak away for a day for the card show. But her work travel did not permit her getting home in time. So no, I decided not to go to the Philly show solo. My two local shows are this weekend, so I was at Hartville this morning, and I will be at the Cleveland show most likely today as you're watching this. Always forget, future people. With all that being said, today's video is sponsored by MySlabs, our good old friends over at MySlabs.com, home of 1% seller fees. So we will see a quick word from our sponsor, and then we will go ahead and dive into today's video.
Tired of paying 10%, 15%, or more to sell your cards, comics, and digital collectibles? How does 1% sound? Too good to be true? Well, not anymore. MySlabs.com is the web's premier user-driven marketplace for buying and selling slabbed cards, sealed wax, and now slabbed comics and digital collectibles. So the next time you're forced to pay 10% or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabs.com and join the 1% revolution.
Once again, thanks to our friends over at myslabs.com for sponsoring today's video. Your home for better seller fees, usually cheaper price stuff for graded cards, comic books, and sealed wax, and NFTs. I don't know what an NFT is, but you could sell them over there if you want to. So with all that, let's go ahead and dive in the charts and graphs for today. Market Movers affiliate link in the bottom down below. First up, basketball. Most of the focus today will be on basketball, little bit of football, a little bit of baseball, and then, wait for it, a hockey card. I know. All I know is it's ice and there's pucks and sticks. Basketball first. Michael Porter Jr. Just wanted to do a little check-in on him, with him being essentially done for the season with another back surgery. I believe this is his third back surgery since college. So that's not too great. His stuff's going to probably keep going down. This is his PSA 10 base and PSA 10 silver. PSA 10 base is down to $44. PSA 10 silver is down to $250. And once again, I did a 30-day snapshot here. It is down 50% over the last 30 days. Now, he was having a pretty slow and meh season to begin with. And maybe his back has been bothering him all season, because he really has not been good since the season started. Then he's been out for the last little bit, and then finally had the back surgery. And it sounds like he's going to be done for the year. We'll see how he bounces back. There's probably an interesting buying opportunity somewhere in here. Most people are not going to want to touch him due to the back injury, which, even if his stuff does go back up, could potentially make him a little bit of a difficult flip later in life. But he's still very young. He is still very talented when healthy. The key question with him is going to be health. So we will see where his cards go from there. If I was going to target a Michael Porter Jr. dip, I would probably try to get into something a little bit nicer, even than a Prism Silver, maybe, depending on how cheap it gets. You know, if you could get like a Contenders Optic Auto, or, you know, some type of RPA or something like on the super cheap, specifically watch auctions, and you could get into it for a couple $100. You know what I mean? Like, if you could really get into some MPJ, like really, really cheap, like a really, really nice card, it might be worth the risk in the grand scheme of things. You know, you're gonna have to sit on it for a year, probably, all the way in the next season, most likely. But, you know, if he gets his back on straight again, he had been healthy for the last couple years with no major problems back related anyway. There could be a window potentially to move a card like that. But if I was gonna do it, I would do it on something nicer. You know, maybe risk a little bit more, but on one really big card, you know, and kind of see where it went from there. I just think that has more opportunity than like a Prism Base or a Prism Silver for potential more exponential growth. And worst case scenario, it could be good trade bait, just depending. I don't know. We'll see. The market could cool on him, like I said, due to the back concerns, but people tend to forget. So moving right along, Jason Tatum. You know, I guess this is just indicative of the general market going down. I went back 14 days on this one. This is his PSA 10 Optic Hollow and his PSA 10 Silver. Optic Hollow is down 20%, all the way down to $600 on this now. And his Silver Prism is down 10%, down to $1,400. He's been playing pretty good. The Celtics have been all over the place this year. They started crappy, then they got good. I believe they've been playing halfway decent for the last little bit now. Tatum's numbers have been fine. But they haven't been like extraordinary, but they've been probably about average for him, to slightly above average. He's having an okay season. Like I said, the Celtics in general have been a little all over the place this year. Really, that's kind of the whole Eastern Conference, to be quite honest. The Eastern Conference standings are a little bit of a mess. Even the Bucks were a little slow for a while. They've kicked it on lately. But Tatum stuff dipping slightly. I am still a massive believer in Jason Tatum. You know, if I could, he is like, So what I've been thinking about lately is, or obviously the market is dipping, cooling, crashing, whatever the hell you want to call it, whether it's the holidays, people just getting bored with sports cards, whatever it is, clearly prices are going down, and it's probably honestly a little bit of everything. Tatum is one of the players you know, if I was going to make a list of like, here's the 3 to 5 guys that I want to be watching auctions on these guys and just kind of seeing where this stuff goes, because at some point in time it's going to hit a bottom. Tatum is one of the guys that I would be intrigued with. I don't have a formal list. Tatum would be on it. Trey would be on it. Ja would be on it. Luka would be on it. Giannis would be on it. LeBron stuff has been dipping pretty hard. He would be on it. I think that's 6 guys right there. But those are the type of players I am really going to be looking at during this, whatever we want to call this, that we're going through right now. Because I still believe some of those players obviously already have history. LeBron, Giannis, etc. already have an established base. So I feel a lot safer about getting into that stuff. The other guys are a little bit more spec plays because they have not won a ring or anything like that. Of those, probably Trey would be the most intriguing just because I think his team has the most potential of the non-Giannis, non-LeBrons in regards to deep playoff run this year and also for the long term. But Tatum would definitely be on that list. So I'm intrigued, especially the Optic Hollow. If that thing gets under $500, I would be very tempted. That's a pretty low pop card, and I'm a big fan of Optic, as we all know. So cruising right along here. Anthony Edwards actually slightly up this week. LaMelo is down a little bit. I did not pull his chart. He's down, but not much. Edwards keeps creeping up. Once again, I went 14 days on a lot of this stuff just to show a little bit of a larger picture. His Silver Prism's up 12%, up $155, 1275, a little over 1400. He's been playing really good. And he is just a monster when he dunks on people, man. My Lord in heaven. He throws down hard. The Timberwolves have been a little feisty the last week or two. We'll see where they end up going. I think they're probably destined to be a play-in team as maybe a best case scenario. Maybe they could get to a 6th seed. The West is still kind of deep, but I think they definitely have a lot of potential for the play-in, as the bottom of the West is really ugly. But he's impressed me this year. I'm not going to lie. LaMelo has too. I still think I prefer Anthony Edwards over LaMelo. I've said that most of the year last year, and I think I still believe that this year. Once again, LaMelo is a perfectly fine player. I just don't believe LaMelo is an A. He is not a Batman. He feels more like a Robin to me. Edwards, I think, has the potential to be an A. That's like his ultimate upside. He could very well be a B. He could also be a C or a D. I really don't know. But his raw talent is absolutely insane. It's just whether or not you kind of trust Minnesota to mold him into what he needs to be. But at least just watching the dude hammer the basketball over fools is entertaining if nothing else. So Edwards slightly up a little bit. This, we got to talk about the Morant Chronicles thing, I guess. Man, if I had these, I'd be selling them as fast as humanly possible. So for those that don't know, in the background of this is a rapper sitting in the stands that died. I think it's Young Dolph or something. He passed away tragically. And then this card, because he's in the background, has gone absolutely insane. So it's really spiked up. It was the talk of the show today. A lot of people were talking about this card at the show today. If I had these things, I honestly would be selling them as fast as humanly possible. It was a $3 card probably prior to this. This is his PSA 10, actually. You can see this thing spiked as high up as $300. It's already on its way back down again to $285. But prior to this, it was a $133 card. So it basically tripled just off this news. Like I said, I would not be hesitating. I'd be selling this as fast as possible, as fast as I could get them listed. I don't even know that I would wait to send it in the PSA. I would just sell it raw if I had them. I think they're going for 30 or 40 bucks. Fast as you can, just move these things. It's a base Chronicles paper card. Unless you're a big fan of the rapper, whatever. But this is just one of those things where don't get cute with it. Just take the profit. Don't get greedy. Move on to the next thing. Let's talk about Zion and Ja. Ja is obviously out. I still don't know that I've actually seen a timeline for his return now that I think about it. I'm just Googling off onto the other monitor here. So the latest from the Memphis paper is Ja Morant is expected to miss a couple of weeks, with that being extremely nebulous. But he was on court shooting some threes. This article is from a couple days ago. We'll see. Hopefully he gets back and on the court good, because he was just absolutely shredding the league. I hope this isn't a repeat of last year where he was shredding the league, twisted his ankle, and then kind of wasn't the same the rest of the year. He played good, but he just was not the same player after the twisted ankle. Hopefully this knee injury does not do the same thing for him. The bigger news here is Zion. Oh, good old Zion. Zion, Zion, Zion. There was a tweet by Shams, and then it went around the rest of the NBA Twitterverse that they have to scale him back because he had soreness in his foot. They said no need for any extra imaging. Here's the thing. I would not trust anything the Grizzlies medical team tells me to save my life. They have literally lied to us every step of the way since this initial injury happened in regards to completely hiding that from us until the last possible minute. So I don't buy anything out of the Grizzlies, or I'm sorry, the Pelicans. I think I said Grizzlies earlier. The Pelicans do not believe anything with the Pelicans when it comes to injury talk about their star player. This is the problem that you have when you are his body type, trying to recover from a broken foot, and potentially not in the best of shape. These Jones fractures are absolutely nasty. I have real concerns that he even plays this year, honestly. That might be over dramatic, but they're already having to scale him back because of this. I've been saying for a while, I don't think we see him before Christmas. I definitely don't think we see him before Christmas now. He was playing 4-on-4, but it sounds like they have to reset the clock on that. So who knows, really? If you had Zion and you're still holding, in all honesty, you probably should have sold a while ago. Because this was the ultimate. You could have bought him back. To me, the writing was on the wall on this. I think we all get caught up in not wanting to take a loss and wanting to have a win on everything. And that's just not always going to be the case. So his stuff, it looked like it rebounded a little bit. You could see nothing had sold for a while, 2,300 for a silver, and then it popped up to 2,800. I'm guessing this was on the news that he was on his way back. And then we could see it went right back down again. And then it went from 23.75. Next sale was 21.25. So this is the lowest it's been for a while. And once again, this sale was post the news that he has had setbacks, maybe too strong of a word, but I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I ran this back 14 days. Over the last 14 days, Ja is down a little bit more, down 17%. Zion's down 7%. I'll be curious to see what that looks like in 2 weeks, if that continues to be the same. I don't know. I really hope Ja comes back and can play well, because like I said, he was playing so well. Another player going up, my boy, Darius Garland, and look out, Cleveland Cavaliers sweeping the nation, winning hearts and minds of millions. The Garland to Mobley and Jared Allen, pick and roll, pick and pop, lobs, the whole 9 yards. Woo-wee. They look good. They are playing. This is the most fun I've had watching a Cavs team since the LeBron days. And in some cases, I don't want to say it's more fun than that because it's LeBron and Kyrie and Kevin Love on their peaks, but just this team coming out of the woodwork has been an extremely pleasant surprise. They've been appointment viewing for me so far this season. And as I stated in a video about a week ago, I would really like to be chasing some Evan Mobley cards. So come on, Panini. His Silver Prism, Darius Garland, PSA 10, up from 260 to 300. A nice little 15% increase, up $40. I can tell you right now, locally here in Northeast Ohio, a lot of people are looking for his cards. Today at the card show, he was probably the number one player I heard asked when I was roaming around tables. Do you have any Garland? Do you have any Garland? Any Garland? And a lot of people asking for Mobley stuff. Like not everyone follows this thing day to day. They don't realize that, new NBA stuff isn't out yet, because if you were a casual card collector, things would make sense that you would think cards would be out with this year's rookies on it, but nah, we don't get nice things. So, young Cavs, definitely the talk of the card show today, at least in the Northeast Ohio realm of things. I would like to get some more Garland myself. I kind of feel like I missed the boat, and now I'm just falling into FOMO. So I've had to stop myself a couple times from potentially pulling the trigger on stuff just to buy stuff of his. It's really tough. I mean, I sit here and make these videos all the time. I'm like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. You shouldn't do this. Double check this. And then I myself fall into the same traps. So, there's been a couple times, I've joked about this before. I just got to close the computer and just close the window and just walk away. Just walk away for 10 minutes. And then come back. But I do have my eyes peeled for some Garland stuff. If I ran into the right card at the right price, I would pull the trigger, just because I really like the player. And anyone that's watched the channel for a long time knows I was always Garland over Sexton. I always wanted to land over the Sex all the time. So he is really performing well this year, and the team in general is really performing well this year. Let's switch over to a different sport, football, shall we? Well, we're only going to spend a minute on football. Patrick Mahomes sneaking his way back up the charts and the hearts and minds of his fans. 2017 Silver Prism PSA 10 over the last 2 weeks has been steadily climbing back up again. We see there was 4 sales, went from 6,750 up to 7,600, and each one slightly. This is like the perfect upward swing that you want to see. It went from 6,750 to 6,815 to 7,450 to 7,600. Nice little incremental one-ups, not these huge, massive spikes. So they were actually on a bye week, I believe, this past week. So nothing happened, good or bad, but his prices continued to climb. We will see where it goes from here. Also in football, let's dip in and look at the 2020 class really quick. I have base prisms pulled up for the 3 primary rookies, Burrow, Herbert, and Hurts. I did not put Tua on here. I always forget about Tua, so my fault on that one. No Tua report this week. Burrow, Herbert, and Hurts, though, all, once again, this is, I think I went 14 days on this one, too. I went base here just because the silver pop is still a little wonky on this stuff. Burrow down 14%, Herbert down 14%, Hurts down 30%. He really got a nice little spike up. It is now pulled back. I see he is missing tomorrow. He will not be playing tomorrow. Gardner Minshew. Get ready, boys and girls. If you're still on Star Stock or anything, get your Star Stock A's for pennies. Probably already too late, honestly. Once he got announced the starter, stuff price spiked. If he comes out and plays good, people will lose their damn minds. All the buy-sell trade groups will be Gardner Minshew RPAs getting posted. But the 2020 class, as this season has moved on, they have really been up and down. Herbert's had his moment in the sun and then come back. Hurts had his moment in the sun and is now pulled back. Burrow, same thing. Tua as well, and Tua's team's actually playing fairly decently, even though it doesn't necessarily have the most talent in the world. I don't know. This 2020 class is a weird one, that's for sure. A lot of talent, just having a weird season. Once again, football in season, I just don't want to mess with it. I just do not want to mess with it. Moving right along, quick little stop by the world of baseball, and then we're going to hop over to one hockey card. I know I think I'm kind of running a little bit long here. Maybe, not too bad. Mike Trout, Topps, PSA 10. Actually creeping down. This is the last 14 days. Down 15%. Started the period at 3K, which I did a video a couple weeks ago. This card's been sitting around 3K for quite a while now. But most recent sale on 12/3 down to 2,500, down 14%, $425 increase. I'm guessing this is just the slower sports card market finally catching up with Trout and baseball in general. Baseball over the last few months has been the most stable of the markets. A lot of that is probably because they're just not playing, and it's we're deep into the off season now. Labor strife came, and the owners have locked out the players. We will see if that has any negative impact on the market. This was totally expected. This was going to happen. The key question is do we lose any actual games? I personally don't think so, but it could get ugly between now and us actually getting baseball back. I do think they're back for spring training. The question is does the negative energy around this situation impact card prices, causing people to panic? A lot of people in my videos say no. A lot of people say yes. My gut tells me baseball might take a little bit of a hit here just because people are going to panic a little bit, I think, and potentially look to move out of stuff. It's not like baseball's never coming back, but you just know how people are. People overreact to everything good, bad, and indifferent. I don't see how this would be any different in this case. So we'll see what happens, but I just found it interesting that Trout dropped that hard just recently here. It's the lowest I think I've seen that in quite a while. And then one last stop. Alexander Ovechkin Young Guns, PSA 10. Pop 940 on this bad boy. I went back 30 days on this, and the reason I pulled this is because it was the top of all the charts in regards to one of the hottest cards over the period of time that I was looking at. Once again, this is PSA 10 Young Guns. Pop under 1,000. Started 30 days ago. This card was just under $6,000. Today, it's just over 8,200, up 41% for a $2,500 increase on this in just a 30-day period. You can see basically went from 1113, it was 5.6K, and then has been flying up the board since. Now, he's recently moved up the all-time goal scoring list. People are beginning to talk about him potentially catching Gretzky, and I think that's causing a ton of buzz around his stuff. Once again, I am a hockey noob. I know the couple names that I'm supposed to know: Crosby, Ovechkin, Connor McDavid, maybe a couple others. I think there's an Austin Meadows, I think. Definitely not my field of expertise, but I do know Ovechkin, and his stuff has gone absolutely batty lately. McDavid's actually down slightly. I did take a peek while I was over there because I was just curious, and Crosby was down ever so slightly. But I'm talking like down like $100, and on a McDavid Young Guns, that's not really that much in the grand scheme of things. But this Ovechkin card's absolutely going crazy. It's so, for a modern day player to have such a normal looking card sell for that much is, I don't want to say refreshing, but like a callback to days gone by. Because it's just a base upper deck. There's no refractor. There's nothing crazy. It's just a Young Guns paper. And it has a massive return of 8.2K for just a basic Young Guns card, but very low pop on these. So that's all I have for you guys and girls today. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Not sure exactly what we got for content this week. I do have some things marinating around. I'm beginning to put some thoughts into like end of year content, like best pickups, worst pickups, best flips, worst flips, that sort of stuff. I'll probably save a lot of that for like the week between Christmas and New Year's. I'm trying to figure out a box of something to rip on the channel, maybe a couple boxes, preferably Marvel. There's just no sports cards that really are out right now. If 21 NBA product was out, I would buy 21 NBA product and hunt Evan Mobley just for the hell of it. But it's not. So I'm not going to just rip last year's product to rip it. Mosaic just came out. I always kind of liked Mosaic, but I just don't feel like spending that much on a box of Mosaic, to be quite frank. There's other things I'd rather buy with $800 or $900, whatever it is. At least Marvel, I'll have fun ripping it. So actively seeking out some sort of Marvel wax. I have Marvel wax here I could rip, but we've ripped that already. I want to rip something new. So that'll be coming at some point in time, once again, probably closer to Christmas. But yeah, and hopefully we get a PSA announcement this week regarding regular service and see where that goes. So that's all I have for you guys and girls. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.